That camera's gonna have issues because of that light. Let's see if I can tilt you guys down a little bit less bad. Oof! No, I want to tilt the arm down, not the entire thing. Because this phone has a little bit more trouble with weird lighting. Let's also pull this up. There we go. Get some nice tranquil music going. Also want okay, let's go. Here's my coffee for this morning. Thank you. I really like this shirt. I think this is one I got from Target. There's a few that I picked up from Target because I have multiple Targets nearby, and so. How's it going? Good morning, everyone, everywhere. I am currently working on 50 million things all at the same time, and I have a laptop. Okay, I still have an hour before I have to work on that laptop. I'm working on production studio stuff this morning. And I need to get, did I pull up? No, I didn't. I need this window open. I need another screen set up right now. I've not cleared off my desk enough for another screen right now, though. Don't mind me just removing plates from my desk. The ADHD blindness is real sometimes. Okay, which is the one I want to go with? It's this one. This one is the Arzopa. Okay, let's center that on the stand a little bit better. And now I should have one of my USB cables right here. Right, that's what this one is. How's it going, everyone, over on the YouTube space? Okay, I want to move this window over here. I hate Apple trackpad sometimes. There's just sometimes that the Apple trackpad doesn't let you continue moving. What is on my back shelf? So up there is the Indiana Jones Lego set. It is the temple from the first movie. And then I have an iFixit toolkit right there, the right to repair mantra from iFixit. And then a bunch of Lego figurines up there. I've done multiple live streams where I've given tours of my office space. Right now I'm not going to, just because I have to get some work done, and there's something on my desk. And there's a cat coming over to sniff everything. Did this phone die? I have not used this phone for anything in like a few days. It should not be dead. Okay. So on this one, I have that one. I need to add okay, how do I do... That is not what I want. I want... Okay, there we go. That's how you spell it, right? Yeah. Okay. Those mornings when you're not sure if you spelled your own company's name right. Ooh, you gotta fix a printer? Honestly, I actually like how easy some printers are to fix, like especially Brother and Epson. Those ones have been so phenomenal. Yep. I want that to be managing my account. There we go. I just gave myself access to this account. Which will make my life so much easier. Ooh, HP printers. Yeah, no go. I have, in my shop right now, I have 4 Brother printers that I need to sell. They're all ones that, like, usually I will go to thrift stores and see what, like, thrift stores have, and they will usually have a few Brother printers that are still good. Like, they're still decent and new. Yeah, Epson with the ink tanks are pretty phenomenal. How goes it, Tony? Okay, I want this. Can I... I'm just gonna delete all of those for now. Yeah, I'm actually shocked you didn't have to take it apart with an HP, because usually when it's a jam, it's like something small that's buried inside the system. How's it going in India? Am I a plumber? No, I'm an IT guy. Honestly, it's not strange to have no need for a printer. I'm actually thinking of moving my color printer that I have out of my side office here because I don't really need it as much as I thought I was going to. And so I think I'm going to move that into the other room, especially since I'm going to be putting a desk over there instead of my metal shelves. Hi, baby. You want my lap? Okay. Jump up on my lap. If you keep spamming hi, I'm going to mute you. Hi, you made it up here. Yeah, she was just leaning on my leg for a second, like with her paws on my leg, like give me head scratches and then I'll jump up. Seriously, guys, if you keep spamming the same thing, it's not going to make me answer your question. How I would do a 3-2-1 backup for home use. For home use, usually... The sad thing is, for home use, I usually don't do a 3-2-1 backup method. For home use, usually I recommend just 2-1 backup method. At least for basic home use. Because as long, like, the thing I will usually do for home use is having a cloud backup solution and a network storage box. Because then you fulfill offsite and you fulfill 2 locations that aren't directly connected. I do not know what breed this cat is. Pretty sure part ragdoll just because of how her demeanor is. You comfy? Yeah. Oh, no need to apologize, Dax. I actually deleted the person's comment as well because they were getting more and more... Like, I don't mind when people talk about what he was talking about and say similar things. But he was going down the route of just bashing those people. And I'm just like, no. Like, I have family who fall in that category. And I don't want them watching my content and seeing that. No, she is very highly allergenic. I'm actually allergic to cats. I have one that is hypoallergenic, but with her, like, I am majorly allergic. What are you doing? You wrapping up in a ball and attacking me? Your plan failed? You have been thwarted? I hope the camera caught that. Like, she was curling up into a ball on my desk just to get at my hand that was petting her. Yeah. No regrets. You want to go back to laying on the desk? Okay. Oh yeah, like if you have a full home network and like multiple servers and things like that, you can do 3-2-1 backup fairly easily. But most home users aren't going to do that. Am I multi-streaming? Yeah, over here is YouTube. This is the primary one I do. TikTok is kind of ancillary at this point. Especially because TikTok at any moment could get taken down because someone doesn't like the fact that I'm not straight. Like, that has happened multiple times, and the company that reviews that stuff is here in Utah and is a very not great company. And so they keep the stuff down, even if you appeal it and you have there's no warrant to getting taken down. So I have zero faith in TikTok at this point. Like, I have zero faith that my account will even stay up on TikTok. And so when YouTube reached out to me last month, I went, yeah, I'm full in. You guys have me over on YouTube now. Yeah. You're gonna sit there on my lap and complain? I'm giving you cuddles. Yeah. Numb my arm. Love numbs. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can change. Am I able to change the font? I thought I was able to change the font on this. Yes, I am. Okay, I like that one a lot more. Yeah, that's the worst part, is she lays down on my lap and she tries to get as flat as possible, and she will complain if I don't give her butt smacks. And so when I'm live streaming, it looks awkward as all get out. Hence why I liked when she put her head up on my desk and I was giving her pets right there, because it looks less awkward. Like right now, she's climbing down underneath my desk to cuddle my leg. She has one claw on top of my leg to hold her on. Yeah. I just let her slide off so I don't have the awkwardness there. Okay, let's see. I wanna... Ooh, that looks good right there. I'm working on my production company stuff because I haven't in the past few weeks because I've been so busy, and I'm trying to help out other creators. I'm guessing your cats want me to pet your cat. That's what it seems. Yeah, YouTube is my main now. If you notice over on TikTok, any video that has the end screen of my logo with like it's a black background and then it flashes to a white logo, or no, black logo on white background and then it flashes to a black background with the white logo, that is because it's something that was reposted from YouTube. And usually I do that so that way it gets over the minute mark on TikTok, or has a better chance to, because if I film a 60-second video on YouTube and then it goes up on TikTok and it has the added 3 to 5 seconds, then I push that minute mark and I can make money on TikTok. But honestly, it's not enough. It's not worth it to me. It's one of the reasons why, if you're over on TikTok and you noticed I stopped posting like as regularly, it's because I am tired of TikTok. Like, I'm just so burnt out from TikTok and how it treats creators. And I was gonna move back to it just being a hobby I do every so often, but YouTube reached out and gave me all of the support that TikTok does not, like right off the bat. So I moved over to YouTube instantly. TikTok isn't Chinese. I feel like people need to learn where Singapore is. Name a character for an edit. Wait, Apple's sideloading has only been localized to the EU? That is so dumb. Okay, that actually makes me more mad at Apple now. Yeah, like that's what I kind of figured Apple would do with some stuff, like the Type-C stuff. I thought they were going to localize that. But they didn't, and I was actually shocked. Reply to what? Am I Mexican? No, I'm not. I am very much white and in the US. My ancestry goes back to like Sweden and Germany. I'm as pasty white as they come. You can see my hair on my beard. I don't think I have any Irish ancestry at all, if I remember correctly. I did a DNA test, and so I know where like my ancestry comes from, and we are pasty. Yeah, I'm hoping to get to the point on YouTube. So YouTube has made me a partner, but in every way except for the ad revenue stuff. So I'm trying to get enough views on YouTube to actually get the ad revenue stuff. And first I will get like the stuff that I have on TikTok, like that you are, where you can like subscribe to the channel, or what is it called? There's another button that like is paid. And then there's super chats, which someone on my live stream the other night wanted to do a super chat, and I don't have it yet. How's it going over in India? I'm guessing the people who are saying hi from India, are you guys just waking up for night shift right now, or are you guys just going to bed right now? Because I have a few friends over in India, and like the best thing is they work night shifts, and so I get to talk to them on a normal schedule for me, but I always feel bad for them because they work night shift. Yeah, member, that's what it's called. Yeah, currently it's dinner time. But I also know some people right now it's breakfast time because they sleep all day and work all night. What do you think of people from India or Native Americans? They're both awesome. I work IT. I have friends who know way more tech stuff who live in India. And then one of the people I've been learning AI stuff from is from India. And he is amazingly smart. And just the fact he is learning as much as he is, as quickly as he is shocking. Native Americans in the US, I have a lot of respect for them, and I feel sorry for a lot of the stuff that's happened to them. What are my favorite places to buy hardware? It depends on the hardware. You have to be a little bit more specific. Because if it's just basic, like, generic hardware controllers, like, okay, there's two types of controllers. Do I have the other type sitting here? I do not. So you can mean this type of controller, or you can mean a hardware controller like Arduino or Raspberry Pi, which I know Raspberry Pi isn't strictly a controller, but it works as one. And it's a great way for people to get into it. Network controllers, yeah, that's a third category right there. Because if it's these type of controllers or network controllers, usually Amazon, just because Amazon. RAID controllers. So those ones, it depends on if you're looking for newer RAID controllers or older ones. I usually scour like online tech sales stuff, like usually on Facebook. There's a few tech things, you can find some on there. The other good one, especially, Legacy, you're going to want to look on eBay, and you're going to want to find a trusted seller on there. Yeah, SATA or SAS controllers. Yeah, if it's Legacy, then usually eBay. If it's newer, sometimes you can find good deals on Amazon. Usually I look for used. Yeah, we need a micro center out here. We do not have a micro center in Utah, which is so weird. Do I think the Snapdragon and Microsoft relationship will last? I don't think Snapdragon will really last much longer. Like, I feel like Snapdragon has been not as, like, high on the list lately. And so I feel like Snapdragon needs to make some major changes, or needs to make some major headway to stay super relevant. Four hours to drive to Micro Center. Let's see how close the nearest one is to me. I think the nearest one is Colorado. Micro Center doesn't just have an app, or like a map, sorry. No, I don't want Best Buy. Yeah, the nearest Micro Center to me, that is going to be an 8-hour drive. What are my opinions on ThinkPads? I love ThinkPads, and I especially love Lenovo devices. Where's that? This is my daily Windows driver. Well, not really. This is my weekly Windows driver. My daily Windows driver is Surface Pro. Trying to catch up with comments. I don't think Snapdragon has specifically stalled. I just don't think it's as revolutionary as it used to be, and they haven't gotten enough, like, market. They haven't gotten enough of the market to stay relevant, which is very tough in the tech world. What kind of IT do you do? I am a general IT guy. Like, I used to be the entire IT team for 12 different nonprofits, and so I had to learn everything. I have some more focused stuff that I am better at, but yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go Microsoft Surface, like, every time. Like, I like Samsung's products, and I like their ecosystem. It's just not enough for me, honestly. Yeah. I do not. Someone asked if I think, I'm guessing you're meaning like, like magnetic disk storage, if this will ever actually be phased out, and I don't think it actually will, because for long-term storage and for high density storage, this is still a better option. And the only better option than this is tape storage, which is prohibitively expensive for a lot of places. So for your high capacity storage, this is usually what a company will still want to go with. And I don't see that changing even in the next 30 years. I think it's going to be, that becomes what tape storage is now for most places, because tape is fantastic, but it's just so costly to get into. How long to get an SSD in your brain? I have no clue. I do not think that type of hardware will be anytime soon. We still need to have like, the first step before we go to that type of stuff is going to be wearables a lot more common, and wearables are still not common. Did I go to school for IT? No, I did not. I went to school for robotics engineering. So I studied mechanical engineering, computer science, and electrical engineering. Well, like, even, like, tape is still costly for most businesses because you have to have dedicated hardware, you have to have a dedicated system and things like that, where getting an external hard drive for backups is so much quicker, so much more accessible for businesses. Yeah, being self-taught in IT can be a hindrance in a lot of ways. Certificates can usually help get around that. It's just, I think part of the issue is a lot of people don't like self-taught because it makes them feel inferior. Well, IT covers like everything that is information technology, which can be servers, networks, end station, workstations, repair, sales teams for tech equipment. Yeah, self-taught, especially for repair, is phenomenal. Yeah, I need to get some tape for my tape drive so that I can do some cold storage. Most of my cold storage is still spinning Rust storage. What are my thoughts on right to repair? I mean, there's my right to repair sign right there from iFixit, and iFixit is one of my sponsors. And I jumped into that one wholeheartedly, even though I don't have enough time to do it. I have 2 videos that I'm sending them, hopefully by the end of this week. Because right to repair is a must. Right to repair is fantastic, and like, it is something we need more of. One of the easy ways you can automate, so someone asked, they have external hard drives and they manually move things to the other hard drive every few months. There's a program called Beyond Compare, and there's automation tools built into Beyond Compare that you can enable. where it will do the syncing for you. And Beyond Compare is one of my favorite tools, especially for file copying, because you get confirmation that that the files have actually moved and that you actually have the proper files in the other location as well. How do I feel about the Telegram CEO being arrested? Yes, I agree with it. Because there is, like, I agree with free speech, especially as someone who was going into journalism a long time ago. Almost 20 years ago at this point. But cloning a drive is a good solution, but if the data you're copying is on a live system over to an external drive, then cloning is not as good of a system. But for the Telegram CEO, I agree with it because it's this free speech absolution thing that a lot of people have been stating, and the problem is they go so far as to allowing criminal activity that should not be allowed in any way whatsoever. And it's criminal activity that tech people have to be concerned about if they ever work on a client computer. Because if you find the stuff that was related to that, then you can be arrested as well for having not reported it. And it's stuff that should not exist in any way. And so the fact that Telegram is supporting that type of stuff and like openly and publicly stating that it's under free speech is disgusting to me. And yeah, Telegram, like, it's a good program for some things, but I do not use it because of how disgusting a lot of the stuff on there is and how easy it is for horrible things to happen on that program. Kels, how are you doing? How is the water situation in your place? I haven't seen an update on that one, and I want to know what's going on. Signal is a bit different because it's not directly creating communities and allowing for communities like that. With encrypted end-to-end communication, that one's a little bit harder. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. That makes me worried because I'm starting to look at new places to rent. Because currently I rent from family and I'm the maintenance guy for this place. So it's on me for that type of stuff. I am so concerned with some of the horror stories I've heard from friends who have moved to other places. I'm just like, yeah, that worries me so much. Yeah, Telegram is such a mess, and it's very different than Signal. That's the main thing. Yeah. I have one place, like literally this window over here is one place I need to check inside the wall to see if there's anything going on in there, because there's a spot that got damaged by a previous tenant, and it's like a hole down into the wall, and that window, like, I leave it open during the rain and stuff like that, and it's not properly coated to water seal that area, and so I am worried that I have done damage. Yeah, Telegram is more like Discord than Signal. Like, that's the main thing. Sorry, YouTube. I was talking about Telegram over there, and so trying to keep up with what people were saying. Oh my gosh, you were almost sold a house that is constantly flooding. Oof. I don't know that it was caused by a flood, what Kels is having to deal with. It's just like rain getting into the building, and in a really, really immense way. Oof. I need to, okay, one of these days I should do a video about this. So my ex, on this wall right here, there was black stuff covering this wall, and I was concerned it was black mold. And this is actually where our bed used to be in this place. And I legitimately thought it was black mold, so I was going to have us move the bed and start cleaning it up, getting it, like, figuring it out and trying to get rid of it. And my ex was just like, no, don't worry about it, it's fine. I was like, why are you not concerned about black mold? And while he lived here, I went through and cleaned up some of it and realized that it wasn't black mold. It was hair dye. And I brought that up, and he kind of blew it off, and I realized it was because he had dyed his hair and leaned his head against that part of the wall, like laid down on the bed, fell asleep, and rubbed his head on the wall while the dye was still setting in his hair. And after we broke up and I kicked him out, he gained access to, like, my Facebook account, like, for the Bearded IT guy, and one of the things he mentioned on there was, he made us live with black mold, it was horrible. And I'm just like, dude, after you got kicked out, I cleaned up the dye that was on that wall and took pictures of it. It was hair dye. You could see where, like, it was, like, because it was wet when it went on the wall, it all dripped down into, like, because this is a slightly textured wall, into the bottom of all the textured areas, and it was obvious once you got close up to it. But he wanted to claim that it was black mold, so it made me look worse. I'm like, dude, seriously? Yeah, my ex is very ex-like. Oh, man. I think my favorite one from that whole experience was one of the things he mentioned that was horrible about me was that I kept a messy house. And then the next thing he mentioned that was horrible about me was that I asked him to help me clean the house. I'm like, dude, really? No, I do not have an OnlyFans. I have an OnlyFans mug right up there. Who was charged in 2012? The call is coming from inside the allegedly messy house, yeah. Oh, I love the Framework laptops. It's just... the only downside of the Framework laptops is the price. But the price is worth it because of how repairable and upgradable they are. Yeah. Sakura's cartoon. I cannot pronounce that word properly to save my life. Yeah, good luck packing. I can't wait to see more updates. I don't know if Framework has touchscreens, but some of their boards have GPUs. Ooh, chicken sounds good. I'm having coffee for breakfast. Don't tell anyone. Okay, what's the next part that I gotta add to this? If you know anything about data systems like databases, I would recommend looking for a job in that area because those ones are the high-in-demand jobs right now from everything that I've been seeing. But aside from that, tech right now is hard. Tech right now is so massively difficult because a lot of companies are thinking they can replace everyone with AI. And so, yeah. That makes things really, really annoying and difficult. Yeah, I feel bad for anyone going into the tech world right now. It's not great. Like, in every avenue I've seen, it is not great. Yeah. And I think we're going to see a bounce back probably next year. But sadly, it's not going to be until next year if what I'm guessing is true. Because the main issue that we're seeing is a lot of companies are thinking they can switch over to AI for everything. But they can't. And they're making this switch and then going, oh crap, what do we do now? We don't have staff. So. Yeah, at this point, I'm staying self-employed because it's so much easier for me to find the work that I need to get through a month than it is to work for a company, especially since companies are adding so many non-competes and like so many ridiculous added things and pushing employees to the breaking point, because they're perfectly fine with burning out an employee and replacing them and just replacing their workforce every 5-6 years because they burnt out an employee in that time. And so I'm just like, yeah, I'll work for myself. I'm fine with burning myself out instead of a company doing it and being forced and then not being able to take a break when I'm hitting that point. I really hope new businesses get born more and more, especially in the tech field. But the sad thing is, especially in the US, it's harder for those businesses to grow. Because of capitalism and because of how bad capitalism has gotten in the US, where big companies can just buy out the smaller ones or make their experience so hard to deal with that the company has to shut down. Like, that's one of the things I've seen here in my state multiple times, because I've worked with multiple different companies that are the contractors for IP companies, ISPs, there we go. I have heard the horror stories of smaller ISP startups, especially ones that own like the cable in the area, and the company, like them going, okay, we'll start an ISP right here. Nope. It sounds like The Godfather oftentimes when you hear about what they're doing. Cat is back. Oh, give me snuggles. Mwah. The non-compete ban was blocked by a federal judge in Texas. Are you kidding me? That actually gave me hope for finding a job. Mwah. Snuggle time. And of course it was a federal judge in Texas. Like, that's just, it doesn't surprise me. If you said it was blocked by a federal judge, I would have guessed Texas or Florida. Oh, sorry, YouTube. There we go. Need to plug in my iPhone at some point. The cable should be over here, unless I moved it over to the couch. Nope, it's right there. Gonna lay down and get comfy. Yeah, I have a decent amount of friends who have moved from Texas. Because, especially Austin area has been great, but it's getting worse and worse. And so they're just like, I'll move someplace better. How about Utah? I played World of Tanks for a week. And it seems fun, it's just not my cup of tea. I would rather play, what is the name? It's not Star Citizen, it's the game that was, like, before Star Citizen that was similar. Elite Dangerous, yeah. No, I don't play any of those, like, online, you play as the ship type games. Oh, also, someone finally found what I was looking for. There is actually a spot on the Microsoft site where it says that, or at least it said, that they were going to deprecate Control Panel. And I could not find it when I was first looking through it. I was using all of the articles and seeing if any of them quoted saying that they were going to deprecate Control Panel, but couldn't find it. I think Tom's Hardware, let's say, Tom's Hardware. Yeah. Yeah, Tom's Hardware was the only one that actually quoted it with deprecate. Everything else just said that they were planning on phasing it out. Command prompt isn't deprecated, but some of the features are. That's literally why in my video I use the term depreciated instead of deprecate. Because Microsoft, when they say deprecate, they literally mean the feature is removed or is going to be removed and has a date to be removed. Like, one of the reasons I usually try to stay away from the term deprecate is, one, it's confusing to non-tech people because that word doesn't really make sense what tech people use it for. And two, every company has a different way that they use the word. And so trying to have an exact definition for something every company is going to use differently is nigh impossible. Like, most Linux companies, they will use deprecate as it's a feature that is removed or not supported or might be removed at some point in the future, or like just countless different things. Like, they do the whole spectrum. Like, Ubuntu is one of the ones that does the whole spectrum of using deprecate. Android usually uses this feature is being phased out, and then they say removed when it actually gets removed. Microsoft, this is something that is removed or going to be removed and has a confirmed date on when we're planning it. Yeah. And then with how deprecate is used in colloquialism for most people, I'm just like, if I mention that it's being deprecated, it is going to be a lot of people going, why is Microsoft belittling and demeaning one of their pieces of software? You know, like, it's going to confuse a lot of people. What, are you going to get on my desk? You're going to get on my desk? What are you doing on the desk? Yeah? Yeah? You feel attacked? You feel attacked? Gonna nibble on my fingers? She's now laying on my hand, so I can't use it. But the thing is, the backlash, like, if you look at the Wayback Machine and when they changed it from deprecate, they changed it before the news articles came out. And so, like, from everything I'm seeing, they had that it was going to be deprecated in their thing for a long while, and then they removed it, and then news articles came out. The only news article I saw that actually quoted it saying deprecated is Tom's Hardware. Everyone else was quoting it as what it says now, where it's like, is going to be migrated into settings. And so, like, even when they said originally that it's going to be deprecated, I honestly don't think it will. And so I don't get why they used that term. And so I'm wondering if it was internal backlash of, like, the team who is working on Windows and the team who puts out, like, the actual publications weren't communicating properly. Because I feel like Control Panel is going to be one of those things that's going to be in the super users folder or the super admin folder. Like, it's still going to be there. It's just going to be an advanced feature that you need to know how to get. Oh yeah, I don't think deprecated means what any tech company or IT guy thinks it means. Like, they created a new way to use the word that doesn't make sense. And I want to know why they start, like, where that originally came from, like, probably back in the 80s. Like, yeah, it currently has features that you can't get elsewhere, but based off of everything Microsoft has said in the past, and is currently saying, they are migrating all of those features over to settings, which, honestly, I understand why it takes so long. Like, that will take a while. No, you are not allowed to play with glow sticks. And I don't see them, like, doing anything to Control Panel or even hiding it until all of those settings and more are in settings. Because they've done that in the past with other things. Like, it's one of the reasons Command Prompt is still on Windows, is because there's some stuff that you have to use Command Prompt for. But it's very rare at this point, and it's getting rarer and rarer by the year. And so, it's just one of those things, especially with such a dense system like Windows, it's gonna take a long time. They've been trying to migrate since Windows 8, but it just... Is it 8 or 8.1? Because I feel like one of them actually had a link to Control Panel if you clicked on settings. Yeah, that's one of the fun things. If you actually know someone who would be on the team who would know directly, they would be under NDA, which makes it harder. So you have to go based off of, like, the neighboring departments. And especially with Microsoft, trying to get a firm answer on anything, oh, that's a nightmare. Yeah, they didn't have a Windows 9 for a very specific reason. It's something that Apple ran into. So if you ever look at Apple versions, if you ever notice, they had Mac OS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, X. There's a specific reason they had X instead of 10. And then after X, they started going to, like, they still have the numbering system in some ways, but if you run commands, it'll usually tell you the version as the name of the version, not the number. Like, let me pull up my Mac stuff right now. So, yeah. So my Mac is on Sonoma, which is 14.6.1. And the reason they do the naming like that, where they have the word and then the numbers, is because some software, when it looks for what version it is running on, it will just grab the first number. So if it grabs just the first number, it goes, oh, this is running on Mac OS 1. Our software does not support Mac OS 1. Please update to a newer system, even though I'm on 14. The same issue happens on Windows, especially since Windows at that time was still trying to do all of the backwards support possible. So if they had released Windows 10, or not 10, 9, sorry. If they had released Windows 9, then they would have run into the issue where software would have gone, oh, this is either Windows 95 or Windows 98. That is why there is no Windows 9. It's the same reason there is no Mac OS 10. There's Mac OS X. Do I have advice for Wi-Fi interface? Like, what do you mean Wi-Fi interface? Like, for a desktop, laptop, what are we talking here? Or are we talking about Wi-Fi access point? Like, the thing that puts out the Wi-Fi? I know that's not how it works, but that's the easiest way to describe it. Yeah, I know he said interface. But there's multiple different things for a network interface. Like, if you're doing desktop, then you have a PCI card. If you're doing laptop, you either have the internal card or you have a USB adapter for doing it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So to prevent Wi-Fi interference. Okay. So the one I would usually recommend for that, Alta Labs and also other companies have similar ways to do this, but I prefer Alta Labs' version of this, where, like, it still has issues in very dense areas, but it has less issues because of this. If you're using the same SSID for an entire building, there's less chance of interference just because you're not having the Wi-Fi broadcast using multiple antennas, using multiple names, and it just causes even more clutter and causes even more issues with... yeah, even spreading out the channels, sometimes it's just too dense to do it. I love when I was working IT at one point, it was right when 5 gigahertz was starting, and so we just did 5 gigahertz, and we're like, everyone should use the 5 gigahertz because there's less interference here, because there's no one else using it around here. But honestly, I work with a lot of different apartment buildings, and there's not really a great solution. Some of the companies I work with, their great solution is to add more access points, which just adds more mess. Honestly, the best thing I can recommend is really refining where you install access points. Trying to get them as centered as possible so you have as much of the building interfering with the outside Wi-Fi causing interference. So you're trying to isolate your Wi-Fi as much as possible. And so if you try to center things as much as possible, you will get some areas that have slower speeds and lower connection availability, but you're more likely to get less interference. Yeah, and one of the worst things is there's a lot of companies that just do okay, let's put 200 access points in this building that is tiny, just to make it so we don't have to worry about anything, and it just causes so much more interference for everyone, and it causes so much more problems. I've also done that before because there's been some locations that I work with where the neighbors were horrible and they literally only cared about their own stuff, and so they would try to drown out everyone else's Wi-Fi they had access points using, it had to be deliberate. They had Wi-Fi access points using every single frequency. So all of them would overlap and just cause a wave of interference. It was annoying. And so we tried to help them, tried to get it so that it was mitigated, tried to talk to their IT team, which they didn't have one. They did it in-house and just had the nephew type person do it. So in the end, we just we ended up having to do the same and just making the situation worse for everyone. But it made it so our clients were able to use the internet, which they needed. And then we wired as many devices as possible. Wait, a Microsoft person actually said because of the joke 789? That's kind of funny. Yeah, like, the lack of Windows 9 is literally, it's because they learned from Apple. Yeah. And the other thing I would do is, like, tweak the power output so that way it's not going beyond the walls as much. You want to make it so you're not adding to the problem as you're doing it. Like, realize the headache you're going through, make it a little bit less annoying for the next person. That's what I wish I could do. Faraday cage wallpaper. I also really wish I could do what I do over on TikTok. I wish YouTube had this feature where I could make the text bigger. Oh yeah, a lot of different companies will automatically switch over to a different Wi-Fi band, or it's called band, right? My brain just went, that's not right. It'll go to a different wavelength, or not wavelength, frequency. That's the word I'm looking for. It'll jump to a different frequency if it's too, like, clogged in that one. But the problem is, when you get a building with too many Wi-Fis, you will have, like, if you watch, you can literally watch this happen. You'll see a Wi-Fi go down and then pop back up as another frequency. And then you'll see another one do that. And they'll all start clogging the other ones. And you just see constant Wi-Fis going down and back up in different frequencies. Just constantly. Oh yeah, that's the power. On almost every professional grade Wi-Fi access point, you can adjust the power. Even consumer grade stuff usually will have a power setting. Any resources you would recommend for someone who works in tech but isn't using Linux daily? I mean, Linux isn't really required to be a daily driver. I mean, I use Mac and Windows as my daily drivers. What exactly are you having trouble with that you would need Linux for? Yeah, I'm trying to find a good one that will allow me to have both chats in one window. But that's more of something that's going to happen when I'm actually using my desk instead of sitting over here. How would you go about making an old phone into a wall-powered only device? It depends on the phone. Some of them won't like that. And honestly, there's better things, like there's better ways to do something like that without using a phone. If you need a way to, like, understand Linux and things like that, just have a VM on your computer that you can tinker with every so often and learn on, and, like, offload like half of your workload onto the VM for a week or a month and just see how it goes. I don't know what VGA cables are rated to lengthwise. Let's see. 650 feet. Holy cow. Yeah, that's actually what I did when I needed to learn how to, like, help with Mac OS and things like that, is I just spun up a VM with Mac OS, which was a pain in the butt, but I got it up and running, and I used that for a month straight as my daily driver on my Windows desktop. I mean, it all depends on, by the sounds of it, you're wanting to connect wall power to where the battery would be in the phone. That one all depends on the power output of the actual battery and how the rails work and how the detection works and everything like that. But you can always wire it up with one of these to like put out the specific power you need from Type-C. I've done videos about this in the past for iFixit, but I don't know if they've released them. But this will actually take the power that you put into this board, drop it down to the voltage that you need, so you can power your device. Yeah, macOS is annoying as all get out in VM, and trying to set it up is a pain in the butt. I'm so glad now that I have my M1 MacBook. There we go. Coffee is finished. Yeah, Hackintosh has gotten worse and worse over the years, and I feel like now that they're using ARM, it's just going to be worse. It's just going to be so much worse. And I feel like, honestly, I'm fairly certain that the reason they switched over to ARM was because they wanted to lock down like repairability and like stuff like VMs and Hackintosh, like more control over their system. Okay, I don't need that block. I don't need that block. Yeah, it might be to stop dual booters as well, because that is a massive pain. You can't really do dual boot. Ethernet from an area with just an outlet, so you're thinking of using the devices that have your network go through your power line as well. I hate those devices because, especially in the US, our power is not as well regulated or clean, and so you get a lot of issues, especially if you're in an older place. Newer places are a lot easier, but then some newer places are a lot more segmented, so it doesn't work as well. Usually I just recommend, if you need hardline, wire one, or use something like a Wi-Fi repeater that has an Ethernet out port, or it's also able to be an Ethernet in port. Like, there's some decent ones from, like, TP-Link has some, and Netgear has some. Just make sure it has an Ethernet port on it, and you just have it act as a Wi-Fi repeater and put out through that Ethernet port. It depends on how that battery capacitor sensor is. A lot of battery capacitor sensors just rely off of how much voltage the battery is putting out, because as the battery drains, the voltage does actually go down. And so it's very specific, and it can be used to figure that out. So it all kind of depends on how that circuit works. That's one reason there's not an easy answer. You want back on my lap again? Honestly, your easiest thing, if the phone is able to be like powered via USB without the battery in, that might be your easiest option, but not all phones can. Squish the kitty. Mwah. Yeah, so your best bet might be to take the board off of the battery itself, depending on the model. Some don't actually have a board. They rely on the sensor being on the phone itself, but most should have a board that you can replace the leads that would go to the battery with the leads that are going to supply power, as long as you know what voltage was coming out of the battery. Yeah. If it actually has a board on the battery, you should just be able to power with the proper voltage that the battery should put out, and go from there, because that board should be where the sensors and like the regulators and everything like that are, so you should be able to go from that one. Oh no, she has lost her head. Oh, you got an itch right here? Let me scratch that for you. Can I delete this page? Yeah, I can. There we go. Yeah, that should work. I mean, it kind of depends on the phone and the battery. There's some that are weird, but yeah. Like 90% of the time, that should be how it should be wired up for that. What is my Linux setup? I don't have any daily drivers for Linux. The main system that I have, like, I have VMs for Linux as needed, but the only system I really use Linux for primarily is my data recovery system, because it's able to blast past file permissions on most systems. And that one is using Ubuntu 17.10, I do believe. Every so often I use a newer version of Ubuntu, but most of the time I'm using an older version just to do checks and things like that, and then using it in another system. Like, honestly, I love Linux to death, but it doesn't do what I need for most stuff. Most of the software I use for things is in Windows. And then Mac OS works for 99% of what I need. Especially since I'm doing a lot of video production stuff nowadays. If you're looking for a lightweight Linux, try Mint or Puppy Linux. Puppy Linux is my favorite lightweight one. At least it was back when I used to use it. I used to use it on like netbooks and things like that. As long as it hasn't made any major changes from what they were trying to do. I don't know why chat wouldn't be working on the PC for TikTok Lives. Should be. That's normally how I read chat. I'm just trying to do so many other things here, I can only have room for the YouTube chat so I can see it easier. You might not like Puppy Linux if you don't like Mint. It's fairly similar but more lightweight. Huh. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to send messages on PC through TikTok chat. That's weird. Dax, don't make me hurt you. We don't talk about Arch. We banished it like Bruno. The main reason I'm not a fan of Arch is because of Arch users. That's the biggest problem. Yeah, no worries. Thank you for popping in and hanging out. Okay, what is the next thing I need on this? Honestly, the main reason I'm not a daily Linux user is because, like, there's some things it doesn't have that I need, but even just some of the stuff that it has, it's more difficult to use on Linux than it is on Windows. And, like, especially with how my brain works, GUIs work so much better for me than text-based. And there's too many things on Linux still that are mainly text-based. Okay, let's delete all of these boxes. Delete. 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 Like, there's some stuff that is super quick if I do it in terminal and stuff like that, but like 80% of my workload, well, no, 90% of my workload is so much faster in a GUI. What is the URL I'm thinking of? I love Parrot OS. That is actually one of my favorite ones. Okay, let me grab this. Oh, I wear my cap like that because if I wear it this way, my face gets too dark. I'm on camera. I have to make sure that lighting is okay and decent. Oh, Elementary is another good one. I haven't... Trying to find a picture to use on this site. Saw a good one for a second and then it went away. Okay, I got that all set up. Okay. It is now time for me to head off so that I can install a battery in a laptop, get that ready for a customer, get a desktop diagnosed, and then work on videos. Yay! I haven't even figured out what I'm going to do with that one yet. I need to go through my server rack and reorganize it and then get ready for... They emailed me back. They read my email. Okay, they haven't emailed me back yet, but they have read my email, so they should be sending that stuff out. I got my server rack for, wasn't it like 50 bucks? So, granted, I usually look for ones used, because you can usually get, like, the one I have is a half height. So, that one was like 50 bucks. Fantastic server rack, I love it. You can get a full height one for like 100 bucks if you look for people online. Yeah, they're pricey to fill. Okay, well, I'm heading off for the day so that I can get some stuff done. And hopefully get some videos done so I can get those posted. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for this whole time. I will see you guys later and hopefully do another live stream soon. No, I got it off of Facebook Marketplace because you can usually find people selling server racks. Especially if you look for a couple of months, because there's usually IT companies that get rid of server racks, and so their IT guys sell off the server racks on Facebook Marketplace. So, bye everybody.